stressed out, we should generally try to avoid caffeine, alcohol, or nicotine. Now, caffeine and nicotine are stimulants. So instead of reducing your stress level, it will actually increase it because it's hypering you up. Alcohol in large quantities acts as a depressant, but in small quantities acts as a stimulant. And I do know, like we mentioned, using things like cigarettes or other drugs or alcohol, coffee, it's something that's a go-to as a coping mechanism for some people when they're stressed out. However, this does not help with your stress, it actually increases it. And at the end of the day, consuming all of these things does not make the stressor or the trigger go away. The problem is still there, and so is your stress. You can also try different relaxation techniques. For some people, it's things like yoga, and for others, it's simply saying a word or a phrase that helps to center them and calm them down. Now, you have to find what works for you. I'll just give you an example. Let's say that you found a phrase, and that phrase is, I am calm. Now, whenever a stressor or trigger comes up and that initial reaction comes to you, you have to stop that reaction and you have to now take control of the situation. That relaxation technique can damage control in that moment. So you just remind yourself, calmly as possible, I am calm, I am calm. Repeat that to yourself, and you can also pair it up with breathing techniques. That's something else that you can try when you are stressed out. Now, in terms of the breathing techniques, you can do this anywhere, anytime. If you're at home and you want to lie down on the bed or the sofa, no problem. But if you're out and you have to sit, just make yourself as comfortable as possible. Loosen up your shoulders, just slump yourself down, right? Or if you can and you're on a couch, throw your head back and just completely relax. Try to clear your mind. Take a very deep breath and hardly let it out, right? So this is what it's going to look like. That's the first breath. Then we're going to take a few calm breaths. So how we're going to do it is we're going to slowly breathe in. We're going to hold it for a count of 1, 2, and then we're going to slowly let it out. Now, generally, we can try doing up to 10, okay? That's a fair number to try. You can do as many as you like, but I'll show you what it looks like so you have an idea. So I make myself as relaxed as possible. I take my deep breath in, my eyes are closed. Now I start. Take a deep breath in, hold it for 1, 2, and slowly let it out. Now I will repeat that for at least 10 times. Now it's a little tough to focus on the breathing and keep count at the same time. So there's a little thing that you can do. You can rest your hands either on a surface or on your lap. And for every breath you take, just put a finger down. So every time you take a breath, you put a finger down, and that way you keep track of how many breaths you've taken. Now, when you're done taking the number of breaths you would like to take that are enough for you to feel at least a little calm, you can keep your eyes closed and count slowly from 1 to 15. So you're still in your relaxed position, whatever that position may be, and you slowly count 1, 2, 3, 4, until you get to 15. Now, when you get there, if you feel like you're not ready to get up back, no problem. Stay there until you're ready. But if you feel good enough, then go ahead and then continue with whatever it is that you have to face or deal with. When you're stressed, you also feel tense. So let's try to relax our muscles, You can do it by doing some stretching or something, or going to get a massage, or if you have a bathtub, relax in some warm water, or just taking a warm shower and just stand there and let the water fall over you and just, relax. That way you can loosen up your muscles and release some of the tension that you have inside. something else that you can do is learn to take control. Now, how do we do this? We have a stressor or trigger. We have an initial reaction that we want to have, but it's not always the best. It might be negative or it might impact us negatively, and we don't want that. So, how do we take control over a stressful situation? We can ask ourselves a few basic questions. What is happening right now? What is my stressor or trigger? What is it causing me to feel? What do I want to do as my initial reaction to this stressor or trigger? Is that reaction negative? Is it warranted? If not, is there something else that I can do to make this better? Now, we can also implement a damage control breathing here so that you can go from reaction to okay, I'm composed, so that you can clear your mind enough to handle the situation. Now, one thing that you can do is if you can physically remove yourself from the situation, do so. Of course, in a polite manner. If there is something that is causing you to feel stressed out in that moment and you're feeling yourself getting worked up, angry, anxious, frustrated, flustered, anything, you just say, excuse me, please, I would just like to have a minute, and you excuse yourself. If you want, use the excuse. I'm so sorry, I have to go to the bathroom. Can you give me a minute, please? Walk away. Now, while you're walking away, you will start counting in your head from 1 to 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Take a deep breath. Then go 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Take another breath. You do that as many times as you need to while you are removing yourself from the situation. That will help you before you just blow up or react. Now, when you do that and you have physically removed yourself and you are somewhere where you can now try to calm down, this is where you can do some of that slow breathing exercise that we talked about a little earlier. And you do that. If you can, just find a way to relax yourself to the point that you can go back and handle the situation. Now, when you have some time, you can sit down and look at the problems that are occurring that are causing you to feel stressed out. Then write down what you think would be some of the solutions to these problems and weigh out the good and the bad of the solution, and then decide, will this work for me? And try them and see what the results are. Then you can compare and say, okay, this works for this situation, but this doesn't necessarily work in this other situation. And that's how you can come up with ways on how to take control before any reaction happens.